I'm Rhea, and I wanted to go over today the behind the scenes of Nerissa'S birthday slumber party stream. I essentially came up with the ideas for everything that showed up in it, and then I put it together in OBS, and I wanted to show a little bit because it was the most technical stream I've ever worked on. It came out to a bit over 123 actions. So just to start, I just want to show real quick. We had me showing off like what kind of shots that we wanted to be made. Like this was all of the planning phase. Like, okay, we want these shots. So this is for the artists. This is how they know what they want. This is me going like, okay, here at the start, we can have Nerissa outside the pillow fort. This was the first draft. Obviously, we worked from there and we were like, oh, what if it was a jailbird? And then it got better, going over the rules, the flow. There was me thinking about, oh, how do I want it to look when there's a pillow throw? Initially, I wanted the person that threw it to have a shot, but then we ran out of time to add that sort of stuff in later. The Jailbird scorecard mock. Originally, there was going to be a bunch of things to rate off of, which would come up with the scores, but we simplified it for the sake of how it would look and ease of flow. This was me mocking up the Who Am I game. I was thinking as well, like, oh, how would I make this work? Which I'll get into later in terms of, you know, I want to show the stream the cards, but I don't want to show the people in the Discord what's on the cards too. The technical for drawing on the faces, this was fun. I'll get into that as well. Another little mock for the horror game. I think the interesting thing was looking at the pillow fight technical. I was trying to think like, okay, how can I do this? Yeah, let me show you guys in OBS. So we started with this starting screen. It was Nerissa'S want to show off her backgrounds, and we went with a security vibe look. It was actually quite funny to see the fans thinking, oh, it's gonna be Five Nights at Freddy's. I was like, oh god, no. I mean, that would be really funny, like maybe next time. But no, yeah, we just did this. I was really excited to do the say my name, but like muffled. So we had the security footage of like, you could see the party fort happening in the main room, and then the further away you got from it in these pictures, the quieter it was. I was just playing around in Audacity for that. I really like that meme of caramel dancing from a building that's far away, so I wanted to replicate that a little bit. So the introduction was essentially we had Nerissa as a Fuji here as a jailbird, and I wanted to do a way of introducing everyone one by one, the same way in Gigi's I had people come in one by one as if they were knocking on the door to the mansion. This time we were going to have people coming into the pillow fort. I wanted them to have cute little tickets. I wanted a way to show who had already entered. So like in Gigi's, for example, the person would show up in the background in the lobby, but because we don't have the pillow fort here in the background, it meant that we had to find a different way. So came up with this ticket idea, just something to like have them show on the screen, and the artist did an amazing job. And yeah, so we had people come in. It was cute. We had them come in, they would talk a little bit with the jailbird, then we would show the ticket would come in, it would then slide off, it would then have the mini version of the ticket ID appear on the screen, and that way everyone knew who had already joined. So if you joined the stream a little bit late, you already know the guests that are here or what ones you missed. And yes, overall that was really nice. And then after it finished, I made a video. So the purpose of this video that I'm playing here is that I really needed to swap Fujis. So there was a lot of Fuji swapping in this. Nerissa obviously was the jailbird at the start, and then she turned into her actual Fuji. I had to swap the image files out for the duration of this video. I essentially told her like, hey, I need to fill 30 seconds. Can you send me some voice line stuff? And then we did it like that. I edited it up in Premiere and then slapped it in. And yeah, so about behind the scenes, I was just frantically changing her Fuji during this and hoping that it would be ready in time. So after that, everyone's in. They're all in the group shot. This main scene was very fun. So in the pitch, I asked the artists like, hey, it would be really cool if we could have just things that move on the screen, because I want to simulate a little bit of activity. I think looking at a non-moving background is a little dull. So I wanted I was like, oh, we could have like flickering fairy lights. We could have jailbirds that pop in and out. So it was a request of mine to get things like that. When the artist sent me the balloons, originally the balloons were just a still image. So I went into filters and I added this filter shader here, and it's a pulse one, and it makes them just slowly, they will just go in and out and pulse towards the center. And it's like a little bit of movement. It's not too distracting, but it's a way to make the thing feel more alive. A little while after doing this, our artist Vani would then animate the other balloons. So like in the introductions thing, for example, they had these moving up and down. I didn't have to animate these myself, so they were amazing for that. Vani also edited the backgrounds to be video files so that they would have all of these like spinning effects and cool little sparkles that show up every now and again. And that was just really great and made everything feel really alive. They drew these Jailbirds for me that kept popping in on the screen. I set those up on a timer. I think in the filter here, it would be like Jailbird 1, move off screen, move on screen. Like, and I tried to stagger the timings so that they wouldn't always come on. So like Jailbird 2 would stay off the screen for 60 seconds. And that way it gets a little unsynced at some point, which is exactly what I want. I want them to be coming on and off the screen at different periods of time. The third Jailbird, which was the one that kept popping up and down on the left, I had that happen a little bit more frequently because it was kind of cute and a little bit faster. So yeah, I think overall the vibe of the group shot, this was the same shot we used for Spin the Bottle. I really liked it. I loved how it came out. Obviously all the artists involved, insane job. Noah Q's chibis were just adorable. Vani's is so colorful and clean. I loved all of the little props around. After everyone was in and it was all looking good, the first thing we had to do was give videos for the people that could not attend and had the time to make a video, and they were really sweet and really cute, and I wanted to do something nice with them. Obviously, there was an option to just throw it up on the screen, but I thought, yeah, it would be really sick if we could make it look like a projector because it's a slumber party, and I wanted to theme everything that I possibly could to the slumber party theme. And it's like, okay, what do you do at slumber parties? You watch movies. How can you watch movies? Well, I guess you could just open a laptop screen, but it would be cute if we got a projector and like, because there's pillows like duvets and blankets like hung up everywhere. Let's try and do that. So I was really excited to be able to work on that effect to get it running. If I use Shiori's as an example, I had the artist create a projector for me, and when it came up, I added a light effect to it, and then I put the video up on the wall. I gave it a blending quality of screen. I lowered the opacity slightly so that you could see everyone behind it. I added an extra plug-in filter to make it kind of like jutter at the start and look like it was, you know, an old movie type recording, even though it's a projector, but like whatever. And I added a bunch of particles onto the projector light, and holy, that bricked my OBS. So I think the fact that it's a transparent video made it so that like the transparency with the dust particles, it was such a hard load for OBS that any time we played those videos, my OBS would slow to a crawl and everything would lag. If I tabbed out of OBS especially, my entire computer would be running so slowly that I thought it might give up on life. And I have a very good PC. So I was quite surprised about that. So yeah, the projector was really hard on the PC, assumably because of transparency issues with the videos. After the videos ended, it was like completely functioning after that, and we didn't have any issues. We also reduced all the file sizes after we did the test run and ran into that issue, so it was like fine. So this was the first big technical challenge, but not in the way that you would think. So this is a game we made. It is the Jailbird popcorn game. And the goal was for players to throw popcorn and hit the birds. The scoring system was 1 point for blue body, 3 points for blue mouth, 2 points for gold body, and 4 points for gold mouth. Yeah, there were buttons set up in StreamerBot. This was really funny because it just did not function the way I wanted it to. Overall, making it extremely simple. So there was a background, there was a foreground, and then I had the assets. So the birds are all actually just images. They're just GIFs that have 2 frames. The way that they're able to move is actually due to a filter called shake. I figured this out by accident because I was trying to make something shake. Like I added the shake filter, and then I tried to make something shake, and it wasn't shaking properly. And I was like, okay, if I add pixels, maybe it will shake like harder because it's not shaking. It's like it's not got enough movement. So I added some pixels. And for some reason it started moving along a path, and I was like, oh shit, no way. And when I removed the warble effect, like when you have a warble, it kind of looks a little bit like weird, I think. Or no, it was random scale. If you had random scale on, it actually moves around like it's trying to shake. But if you set it to 0, it slides along the thing. And I was like, okay, holy shit, I can use this. So I set speed, I set a minute, set a speed and let it go. Obviously, the golden one is meant to move faster because it's meant to be harder to hit. But in terms of like how the movement happens here, it's very simple. And the hand is essentially doing the exact same thing as them, but horizontally instead. The actual throw animation, I created the throw animation in Photoshop, made like 9 frames. It was just like a quick skew on the transform to make it look like it's coming towards the camera, like being, pulling backwards and then throwing. If I was to press that button right now, it would look like this. Boop. Resetting it was always a hard reset like this. It would never just like continue from where it left off. That's because the way that I made it freeze when I threw it is through a freeze plugin. So all of these things, if I go into the filter here, there's a freeze plugin which is currently active, and if I reset it, it will turn that freeze filter off and everything will keep going. But the freeze only freezes it in the place that it is. It doesn't freeze it as in stop it from moving along the path. It is still moving along the path, it's just currently frozen in a point and will, continue where it is in the current time when I disable that. So that's fine. It just looked a little janky, but it just meant in the live scene, all I had to do was like, okay, I throw the thing, and then I reset it, and I just put a stinger. I made a shorter stinger because, this game is going to take a while. So I made a shorter one with no logo involved so that I could repeatedly do that. Something that I found to be an issue, which was quite weird, was that when I tried to make that animation as a GIF or a video, it was not working properly. I don't know if that's because of the filter that lets it move across the screen. However, it was fighting me and it would like lag out, or it would skip some frames, or it would not show properly, and then there would be nothing showing for a bit, and it was so bad. So I did a really scuffed fix, which is that I made all frames as images, and if you watch the sources here when I press throw, it just does all 9 frames in a row. So on the streamer bot, it looks like this. Essentially, the thing moving when it goes back and forth, that's frame 1. So when I press the button to throw it, it would hide that frame and show frame 2. Then it would wait 60 milliseconds and then show frame 3 and hide frame 2. And then repeat until all frames have been done. Or then it moved to 20 milliseconds here. God, it was so stupid. It was so dumb. But it worked, which is the most important thing. And then the hard part came. I had to figure out how to make the players be able to play it. So the first thing I thought was, okay, well, we can make a button for that. So my friend helped code something, or like use, it was like, oh, you give them your IP address, you attach a web thing to it, and then they can click a button. And the button, we couldn't figure out how to link the button to StreamerBot, because I do everything in StreamerBot. And their solution initially was that we tie a trigger to it. So for the throw dot, for example, we initially had it so that if my account received a whisper on Twitch, it would activate the throw effect. And so if you press this button that they had set up on their web thing, it would make their account on Twitch send a whisper to me, which would then activate the trigger. And as you can imagine, whilst it was a bit laggy for Europe, it was absolutely horrendous for America, and it just kind of sucked in general. So that wasn't really an option. After that, I was like, okay, maybe I can just do it myself. So we made it so that there was a soundboard in Discord, and when everyone pressed that soundboard, it would play a song, it would play a sound like a honk, like a clown honk. And when I heard it, I would press the button for throw dot, and I would just do it on my end, and we could simulate that it's like on their end by, oh, they get to press the button to make the sound happen. However, again, for some reason, it was really laggy, like, especially for Americans. I'm from the UK, so yeah, when an American would do it, I guess it took a while for their sound to reach me, and then for me to press the thing, and also they're watching my stream on Discord. It was just a whole mess. Then I found out about streamer bot decks. Now, streamer bot decks are absolutely broken. A friend of mine told me, hey, have you heard of this? It basically allows you to link your streamer bot to a deck on their website, and on that deck you can essentially assign buttons which you can then link to people, and they can press it and it will trigger the effect for you. It was everything I wanted. So we used that for the day of. Everyone was given the same deck. Everyone could press the button to make the thing go. We used the same feature for the spin the bottle later to let people spin the bottle themselves. I just attached it to the spin the bottle action, and then yeah, they could control it. I like that a lot. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time on my streams, is to be able to give the players that are interacting with my OBS magic to like feel like they have some control over it, because otherwise they're just verbally saying like, oh, I do this thing, and then I have to press the button, and it's like, it just feels nicer when you have a button to click, you know? So I'm really excited about that. It's something I can use for a lot of future projects. I'm just feeling really good about it. So yeah, this game honestly wasn't that complicated. There was the scoreboard as well, which would come up. That was reasonably simple. I just had a bunch of commands here in StreamerBot, and what it would do is, like, I had a global, I would increment it by however much, and then I would update the text box. Like, I would link a text box here for the scoreboard to the global in in StreamerBot. So it meant I could add 4 to whoever I wanted. It meant I could add 3 to whoever I wanted. I set up a reset button. I had the +1s. And then whoever won at the end, I just played a little video I made in Premiere. Yay, winner! I found some cute confetti. It got very confusing during the stream, actually, because everyone was kind of yelling and playing the game. They got really into it. It was quite funny. In the test run of this, we ended up only playing for 4 minutes because we were playing with lag. We didn't have the proper button to press yet, so it was very clowny. There was a lot of laughing and like, what the hell's going on? Oh my god, we suck at this. But we did kind of clear it. We got to 5 points in 4 minutes, and it was kind of taking a while to the point where we were like, okay, let's not go for 10 points. I guess during the main thing, we can cut it from 10 points to 5 points if people are struggling too much. But during the actual stream, I was really surprised. The bit lasted for 20 minutes, which is, it far exceeded what I thought was going to happen. So then we moved to the actual group pie games, and obviously the main thing to note is that you can't have everyone playing every single game because there's a lot of people, and it's a lot of people that want to speak, and it becomes very chaotic. And I think one of the main pieces of feedback I have heard is that people don't like it when there's just loads of people yelling over each other. So obviously that meant that we needed to split everyone up into groups for the games. So we had Group A, Group B, Group C. Nerissa played in all of them because it was her birthday, and we wanted to obviously put people in a place when it was not their turn, and that is how Baby Jail came to be. I love Baby Jail. I freaking love Baby Jail. So we're like, okay, let's put everyone in Baby Jail. And we have this scene as a result. Initially, it was just like, okay, yeah, we have Baby Jail, we're gonna put them in there. And then I made a shitpost because I like to try and be very funny. So I took a picture and I posted it in the Discord of essentially the sketch that our artist, Vani, had posted of this scene, but I added a spike trap at the top and I said, yeah, add a spike trap. That's really funny. And I made it as a joke and they laughed, but then they actually did it. Like when I was given the files later for with the assets, there was a spike trap. I was like, oh shit, do we actually want the spike trap? I was just joking. And Nerissa was like, yeah, I love it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I worked to essentially create a timer where the Jailbird would run for a certain period of time and then get tired and stop, and then after another like a second or two it would then drop and then they would start running again, and it was running on a timer. So here it is in StreamerBot. It's essentially like makes it stop running. It's on a 2000 millisecond delay, and then the spikes start falling, and then there's another delay, and then everything starts going again. It's written as gay baby jail in my files because I am gay and it's funny too. So yeah, I had to make a button that would allow the spikes to move out of the way so that we could put people in baby jail, which actually has some conflict. So if the spikes were in the middle of dropping, I can press the button in a second, and then I press the disable spikes button. It actually would not do what I wanted it to do. I had a button to disable the spikes, but it would just break because I needed the spikes out of the way. Like, here's what it's meant to do. It's meant to pull them out of the way, and then I can put, you know, oh, it's time to put Group A in jail, time to put Group B in jail, time to put Group C in jail. But yeah, it would, like, it glitched out. Like, the first time we went to baby jail, I think it glitched out. But yeah, after, like, 10 seconds, it comes back in, and then it's like, yay! So we would just move people in and out of baby jail between rounds of games, which I thought was cute. It was a fun idea. The Jailbird's great. It was, I don't know, it was just funny. It was cute. So yeah, next, spin the bottle. Pretty simple. So for spin the bottle, I essentially had a randomized action. So here I create the action, I put it in the group, then I select random. And what random does is it means that it takes a random folder from inside of it and will randomly do it. I had all of them weighted at 0.2, so it would be equal. And then inside the action is essentially like it stops on the thing. To begin the bottle spin, I would press this, and what it does is it hides all of the potential outcomes, and then it chooses and then it starts spinning the bottle. It was just a video animation that we would play, and then it randomly chooses between 3 and 4 seconds to stop spinning, and then it plays the action spin the bottle. The spin the bottle is the outcome. The outcome is essentially, hey, it chooses, is it going to stop in the top right, top left, left, right, or bottom? It will hide the spinning animation and it will show the result image. These are all just like plain images that were shown. And obviously in the actual thing, it was a bit rough. If I press the spin, it's going to stop on wow, amazing. That's the example I was going to use. It ended up landing on Nerissa a lot. I genuinely did not have it weighted to land on her. Nerissa was always in the top right, and she got it so often. There were some of the games where like someone like Cecilia just did not get it at all. When there was like one left, I actively edited the files midstream, and I rigged it so that no matter what happened, it would definitely land on Cecilia. Unfortunately, yeah, I had to actively rig that one midstream, and that's why these are all currently disabled, is because I had rigged it and then I unrigged it afterwards to go back to normal. So yeah, spin the bottle. Overall, super fun, super cool. Went smoothly. Threw people back in jail. I want to talk about Who Am I was actually an interesting challenge. So Who Am I? I really wanted to show the stream the post-it notes with the names on them. So the interesting challenge is it was not hard, it was just interesting. So obviously, I had to stream the stream to all of the people playing. So during Nerissa's entire stream, I was actually sitting in Discord with all of them, obviously, so I could capture their audio, so I could show them what was going on, because they can't play off of the stream on YouTube, because then it's delayed. Everything they see there is going to be a few seconds delayed. They won't be able to play games like the popcorn Jailbird game, for example, so on and so on. They need to be able to actively see what's happening in the moment. So I would stream the screen to them on Discord. I would show them, hey, here's what I'm showing to the stream. Essentially, I was streaming twice. However, like I said, I cannot show them the text on the post-it notes, so I had to figure out a solution. How can I do that? How can I show chat exactly what I want them to see and have these guys not see everyone's name, because otherwise it will spoil the game. The solution ended up being virtual camera. Turns out on virtual camera, you can select an output type, you can select a specific scene, and then you can do 2 different scenes. So what I did is I had live scene, which is what was being outputted to YouTube, and I had scene for Discord, which is specifically just for the people playing in Discord. And for them, I had these black squares that hid all of the names, and then in Discord, I sent all of them in a personal channel a picture of the rest of their group's post-it notes, but not their own. So I was pretty stoked to find out about the virtual camera stream. It makes it really easy to show people in Discord stuff. The only downside is that it doesn't capture audio, and that just meant I had to then stream OBS itself to them as well. And then I just asked them not to open that stream, obviously, because then they would be spoiled. Haha. So next, I want to talk about my favorite things in this stream. The punishment and reward system. This was something I came up with specifically. I was very excited about it. I said I wanted to have pillow throws. And I was like, how can we interact, or how can we involve these in the stream? Pillow throwing, I thought, would be so funny if we could use, have that as a common occurrence throughout the stream. And it kind of evolved where I was like, can I make it meaningful in some way? And that's when it became, okay, actually, let's have an award for the best person at the sleepover, best sleepover guest. Maybe we can rate that through having their pillow throws be rated. Like, if we have pillow throws be the reward option, and then it provides a number system, then we can tally up who has the highest number at the end, and that's an easy way to do it. So here's like the scene setup. We had I could choose the person that would appear, their Fuji would appear, and then I would have the pillow be thrown. Now the pillow throws were done in a similar way to spin the bottle, in that there was a randomized pillow outcome. I had 5 options. It was critical fail, critical hit, high throw, medium throw, low throw. Each throw would shove them a certain amount to the side. A critical hit would knock them off the stage. A critical fail wouldn't move them at all. Low throw would be a little bit, etc., etc. Within each one, there was this. It would essentially random a number between 0 and 1 for each guy. Or first of all, I should say, the pillow outcome was randomized the same way, where it is a random action, and I assigned weight. So critical fail had 0.125, low throw had 0.25. So these 3 were actually meant to be more often than critical fails and critical hits. And yeah, so when someone would throw a pillow, I would just press the button to randomize it. It would choose one of these and then do it. The way it would work is it would use move source. I had 3 points. I had the pillow origin point, which is currently here on the side, the pillow strike, which is in the middle where the character's head is, and the pillow endpoint, which is off the screen to the left. And I changed them together. So for pillow origin point, pillow strike, as the first thing is the bit in the middle, it's going to move from the origin point to the middle. I set it to take 300 milliseconds, so I wanted it to be fast. I wanted the impact to be good. I added a slight curve in so that it would not just go like, it would go, as if it's actually being thrown. And then I chained the movement so that when this hit the character, it would then move to pillow endpoint. And pillow endpoint is over here and also has a curve. So it would essentially come in, hit, and curve and go off, and then reset to the origin. And the pillow as well, I wanted it to have a little bit of action going on. So I added a filter, I added a rotate filter, and it meant it was essentially just constantly spinning when it got thrown. And this looks like this when you actually play it out. Whee! So you can see where the outline is for the pillow. You can see that it follows the arc through and then instantly resets. And it does that automatically for me, which means that I don't ever have to like make it do it by pressing any buttons. It's just as soon as I click pillow strike, I can just trust it to kind of finish its own thing. Now if I remove the box, you know, it looks really smooth and nice. It's really... Whee! And then when you actually factor in the throwing at the same time, then when you actually throw the pillow, I added movement for the... Okay, that was a critical fail. Yeah, it didn't move. I added buttons for myself to ensure a critical hit or a critical fail. Critical fail always had the little squeaky noise, which I thought was quite funny. And I wanted the critical hit to have a bunch of really cool special effects, so I worked on that. So that's what that looked like. I thought it was really cool. Everyone seemed really hyped every time they got a critical hit. So I would consider my job done well for making that seem impactful to some degree. I worked on this scene, the live scene itself, actually, for this one. Yeah, so for the critical hit, I had a bunch of effects here. I had some black bars that would zoom in. So black bars look like that. They just come in, and then if I take them off. Yeah, the effects that essentially would happen is the black bars would come in. There would be a zoom in for the pillow, and then I would show the zoom lines briefly as well. And then I would play the SFX for that, which occurred, I believe, on the actual pillow throw scene. Like that, yeah. And then I added a sound effect as well. And I just chained all of these together in StreamerBot. I go back here. I turn off the pillow zoom, turn off the black bars, turn off the zoom lines. You go into StreamerBot. You can see it here. It's like, okay, I hit a critical hit. I need the critical hit effects. You go to critical hit effects. This is essentially what it looks like. It's like, okay, play black bars, play purple burst, zoom in, zoom lines, all this stuff. Wait 200 milliseconds because that's when it's going to collide with the head. Then you want to have the black bars start to come off screen. You want to zoom out. You want to remove zoom lines. Then you want to wait 500 milliseconds to hide some videos just to make sure like things are not still playing when you hide them, because then it looks a little sharp and not clean. You don't want it to get cut off in the middle of something. But yeah, it's essentially just like timing things with how long things take. Like for example, here on the filter, right? The black bars are going to come in and it's going to take 300 milliseconds. I have to make sure I wait at least 300 milliseconds before I then remove them, or it's going to break something. Yeah, everything ended up looking really clean. I really, really liked how the critical hit looked. I was really happy with this. It was super cool. There was obviously just the medium throws. So obviously these sorts of throws weren't as exciting because it's not a fail, it's not a crit, it's just kind of like in the middle. I think people were landing like medium throws and we're still pretty like this. Yeah, this is a decent throw, but that doesn't feel as satisfying. I also didn't end up having time to add a sound effect for just getting hit by a pillow, which is a bit unfortunate, but yeah. Overall, I really loved this pillow throwing mechanic. I had it so that each thing had a different number related to it, and that's how the scores were decided for the Jailbirds. So like for example, critical fails, I made it randomize a number between 0 and 1, so it could be 0 or 1, and it did that 4 times and then added that to each thing. So if I do a throw pillow here, that's a crit. That's going to be between 9 and 10. Excellent. We got all 10s on the board. That's what I like to see. So if you see here in critical hit, it's choosing between 9s and 10s here for all 4 of the Jailbirds. They all random 10 here, and thus they all had 10 come up. And I edited the text box for each one, automated through this critical hit system. For highs, it was between 7 and 10. For medium, it's between 5 and 8. For low, it's between 2 and 4. And for critical fail, it was between 0 and 1. And that way, you just have it so that even if they land the best thing or the worst thing, the numbers are always going to be different, and that's going to make it feel a little bit more satisfying for the players, knowing that if they're racing for this first place spot, they're not necessarily cooked because someone else scored a certain thing. You could get a critical hit and still get like 4 9s, for example. Then of course we had the graffiti. The way that that worked was I had 2 sets of Fujis. I had the Fujis that was everyone's main cute little chibi, and then I had a Fuji that was them with their face drawn on. Nerissa actually designed all of those herself, and the artist made videos for me that I requested of them drawing those designs onto the chibis. So when we did graffiti, what we would do is it'd be like, okay, well, Nerissa, it's your turn to be punished. And then we would go to this video, and this video would last 30 seconds. I made them all last 30 seconds and then put them in. And what the 30 seconds did was give me the time to go to the Fuji website and swap the Fuji art around. There was one time where I did it very quickly, but it took over 30 seconds to save the file in for some reason. So it meant that when we went back to the group shot, their Fuji hadn't updated, which was really sad. There was nothing I could do about that, but it was just sad because otherwise I had like maintained the illusion. They would come back in, the Fuji would be updated, it looked really cute, like they'd actually had their face drawn on. I was a really big fan of this concept. I think it was executed really cool, and it was really fun to see everyone get their face drawn on over the course of the stream. The other punishment that we had was very funny. It was the closet scene with Gigi. I put this together on the day of the party. I asked Nerissa in the group chat, I said, hey, can I make a really scuffed closet of like a real life closet photo with Gigi in it? Is that okay? Like if I switch this to Gigi real quick. I'm actually pretty pleased with the technical side of this. So what I did was first of all, I cut out this picture. I had an image of a closet that I took from a assets website. I cut the clothes out of it, and then I put the clothes on a layer at the front, and the layer, or in front of Gigi, I should say. And then I added a ripple filter to it, which means that the clothes just like sway ever so slightly left and right. I don't know if that was noticeable, but like for me as a details enjoyer, I really was pleased with how that looked. I put Gigi behind it. I was laughing the entire time. I thought it was so funny. I took the Fujis that faced to the left side, and then I flipped them to look to the right side. And I added this filters. I added a color correction, so I turned the brightness down to 0 because obviously it looks like this otherwise. I turned it down to 0 so it was just a shadow, and then I added a blur so that it's like the camera is focused here on where Gigi is, and the person at the foreground is blurred out because, you know, they're not important. They're just stuck in this closet with Gigi, who's hiding behind. She's the funny part of the scene, right? So it was kind of cool to have that, and obviously it meant that because it's an actual Fuji browser source and not just an image, if they talk, you can see them jump up and down as they talk. So everything is all live and done in OBS. I try and make it so that it is like be able to react to everything going on. For how last second this was, I was extremely pleased with it. Gigi was really funny in all of her yapping about League of Legends, Team Wolf, Omegaverse, whatever. I loved it. It was such a good punishment. I'm glad we got to do it 2 times. The final scene was Gigi's horror story. So this was the horror storytelling section. This was probably the least developed thing in the stream. I really didn't have time to do a lot for it. I actually also got scared. So in the horror story, I had 6 effects, but I forgot to test them right beforehand, and I was too scared to press some of them during it. So one of the ones I didn't get to use was lightning flash, which was literally just going to be a flashbang, and it has like a lightning sound, like achah! I had a shake model. This one I used a fair amount, which was just a quick like little shake left and right using move source plugin. I had a glitch one I used a couple times. I had a screen shake here, but I was a bit too, I didn't really know when to use it properly. I had a light flicker that I used a couple times, which I thought added to the ambiance. Gigi reacted really well to that when it happened. And I had a zoom in that I used a couple times as well, which was kind of funny and a little scary. Especially on Cecilia's, since she had the red drawn on her face. It looked like she had blood dripping down her eyes. But the zoom pulse was like quite cool, and I got to use it a couple times. This is an effect that, like, especially when they're talking, it's like, ah! This was meant to be used when they were screaming, essentially. I'm sad I didn't get to use the lightning effect, but overall it was like pretty good. The stories were pretty good, and the effects were like fine, and I think the people reacting to it did a great job, and I think the chat enjoyed it. So overall, it was still cute. I think the torch effect in itself was enough. And also, one of my favorite things to do when I do these streams is the merch drop. So we sat there and thought, okay, how can we do the merch drop? What do we want to do for it? There was a bunch of discussion around it. It was like, what assets do we need? What can we do for it? I had an idea. I was like, what if your mom comes in? I pitched that, and Nerissa loved it. She went and asked her mom, who was super down, and recorded some lines for us to use. She says her lines. When she says her second line, the merch comes up on the screen. Incredible art by Vani as usual. And then after her mother leaves, we have it open with this little animation. Super cute gift to the Jailbirds. I know that Nerissa's family features on her stream a fair amount, so I was really glad that we got to do this with her mom. and the fans seem to have reacted really well to it as well. So I was really happy overall with that. This is what my stream deck looked like. I have a stream deck set up like this every time I do an event of any kind, mine or for HoloLive. It essentially is just my way of, I try and organize it so I see what's going on. Usually I color code a little bit more. I add images to the buttons when I can. This one I didn't have that much time to. There were folders at the bottom that lead to every single scene and buttons inside of that handle each scene separately, and I try to have it organized. So at the top here we have reset to starting screen, which is a massive reset button, and what it does is it resets everything back to the base as it should be. Like everyone's taken out of baby jail. We go back to having the starting screen appearing in the live feed. The music is all muted in every scene. Things that are out of place are put back in place. If there was a pillow throw done, it should reset the pillow throwy back to the middle. This button is, I try and have this for every project I do. It's essentially just a way for me to get back to what it will look like at the start so I can run through it cleanly without it breaking. This is what it looked like for this project. It's not incredibly detailed. Something I did is I did a really good job of having things reset in general when I would go to a source or when I would leave a source. So with pillow throwing, for example, the animation of the pillow throw, like I showed you earlier, would reset itself after completing. And then when I would ever go to the pillow throw scene, when I press the button for it, it would also reset everything back to where it should be at the beginning. And as a result, I did not have to overload myself with this reset button, which was quite nice. But I still had one just for the little bits here and there that needed to be reset, like baby jail, so on. Because every time I go to a pillow throw, I need it to be reset so I can throw another pillow. But every time I go to baby jail, I can't reset baby jail because I need the groups that were put in there to still be in there. And that's the difference there. So for the intro, here's the buttons for everyone. When we were running through the introductions, I pressed start stream. This is what started playing the video of Nerissa whilst I changed her Fuji. Then we went to the outside of the tent. That's when I would intro Liz and it would bring Liz onto the screen. And then when they said, "Where's your ticket?" and she goes, "Here's my ticket," then I would press the ticket Liz button and this would show. So here, just for bringing Liz on, it would bring Liz on, and then for Liz's ticket, it would bring Liz's ticket on. And then it would take Liz's ticket off after a few seconds and then hide it and then bring in the mini ticket. And that was what the flow was here. And I did that for everyone. Something I did that was a little bit clever was that I made everyone in the same group on that scene. So for the introductions, everyone is inside the introduction Fuji. So that way I just had to, in the filters here for the move source, when the character is coming on screen and going off screen left, it's just 3. It's just 3. I don't have to do one for every single character. The character will come on screen again. All that I have to do is just hide and show the correct Fuji in the folder. But the folder is the thing that's moving, not the Fuji itself. And that way I can have these characters all move off of the same 3 move sources and not have to worry about that for individuals. So that's why this is so easy. Intro Liz is literally make Liz visible, make the character come, like the character group come on screen. And then for Bijou, it's okay, make the character go off screen left. So then, you know, Liz would walk off the screen, wait for 3 seconds. Now hide Bijou's Fuji, or show Bijou's Fuji. Holy shit. Let me try that again. Wait 3 seconds. Show Bijou's... Oh my god. Let me try that again. Sorry. Wait 3 seconds. Show Bijou's Fuji. Hide Liz's Fuji. Bring the character all, like, back on screen again. After moving it over to the right and then coming in. And there you go. And it's like that, just on repeat for every single person until we're done. And then it doesn't bring the group on the screen again. It just finishes and puts Cecilia into the tent and it's into the fort and it's over. And then we go to Nerissa's intro, which is where it plays the video for her. Then the message videos was just the messages. I had a music toggle button to quickly fade the music in and out so that we could play these without background music playing during them. The Jailbird game, here's the scoring buttons for everyone. Everyone had 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reset the scores if needed. Here, if we have a winner, I press this button. Here's the throw dot. Here's the reset dot. Here's the toggle scoreboard. Everything was here in place for me to be able to play for them or just manage the scores depending. Spin the bottle was very easy. It was just bring in groups A, B, C, and then spin the bottle, and the bottle finishes spinning. But that was all automated to be done on their end through the streamer decks. Baby Jail was just move groups in and out of the jail and disable the spikes for when I wanted to do that. Pillow throw, I had a picture on each button for like who was gonna get hit by the pillow. Here was a button I made very quickly just to test the critical hit effect. Yeah, I hit this throw button most of the time, which randomized the outcome. There were some situations where I did a critical hit or a critical fail on purpose and I like rigged it. Not for like point outcome, it was mostly just for humor. Like if someone was being really aggressive towards someone else and was like literally screaming as they threw the pillow, sometimes I was like, okay, I'll give them a critical hit because it's really funny that they would hit it. Sometimes it's really funny to do a critical fail because they did all of that screaming just to not hit at all. When Fauna was like, I'm not a nerd, I'm gonna hit you, and threw a pillow, give him a fail because it's funny. Because she's a nerd and she can't throw. We also had the Jailbird test pillow, which was just the beginning when we did the demo. It was always going to be a crit hit on the Jailbird. Sorry, Jailbirds. Who Am I was very simple. It was just putting the right group on the screen. Horror Story had the different effects that I was playing with. And Graffiti was very simple. I just had the pictures of everyone here, and when I clicked it, the video started playing. And that was it. Overall, I'm extremely happy with how it came out. I think it was a lot of fun. I think everyone had a lot of fun. I was definitely the most stoked by Pin the Jailbird or Popcorn Jailbird game. This game was definitely my pride and joy because this is the first time I've ever been able to create a game that people have had a control for to be able to play on their end. Usually I just control everything in OBS. So this was like a massive achievement for me and leads the way for a lot of things I can make in the future now that I know how. I'm just so glad, again, getting to work with the girls from Hololive. They are so entertaining and so fun, and I love that I get to express the full scope of my ideas through them because they have access to these background artists and character artists, and they can make all these really cool things, and it's just a massive privilege to get to see this look the way it does at the end and have been a big part in setting that up and being a part of figuring it all out, and obviously self-improving. I learned a lot from doing this project. I can now make things faster in the future. I have a groundwork to keep making stuff. I'm just super happy. I had a really good time. I'm really proud of it, and thank you to the team. Let me just show the credits page real quick one more time. So these were Jailbirds that I asked Nerissa to draw for us. So this was the outcome. They're so cute. I love them so much. Like, seriously, it means the world to me to have this. It's adorable, and I'm so happy. Honestly, she was amazing. I love Nerissa so much to the absolute moon. I really hope to do more with her in the future. She's the best. But yeah, shout out to Vani, absolutely incredible background artist. All these props and like background animations and stuff was all them. They are so freaking talented. Noah Q did all of the Fuji's art, really, really adorable. All of the sleepover outfits were so expertly designed. Like looking at them and seeing the thought that went into them, it's just everyone is so suited to their outfit, and it's just adorable. It's so cute. And Enoshinoko did the logo, which again, really beautiful logo. It's so clean. I love all of the details, the sleeping Jailbirds and the little bits of design from Nerissa's design that went into that. It's just awesome. Everything looked so beautiful. I'm just really glad I got to work with these people. So thank you for watching this video. This was a very long breakdown of everything that went into this stream. I obviously didn't go fully into like tutorials on how to make everything, but maybe that's something I could do in the future. I just kind of wanted to show like, hey, you know, it's one thing to watch this live, it's another thing to understand how many different scenes there were for everything and all of the buttons that go into that and the thought behind how do I make this function, what, you know, it's a lot of plugins and moving things and effort and work and a lot of time and effort, right? 123 actions is what we have right here, and that's a full month's work, I suppose, of just making it all come together. And I'm just really happy to do things like this when I'm working with such great teams of people, and this was another project I got to work on with an amazing team of people. So thank you so much to Nerissa for you know, bringing me onto this project, and thank you so much to everyone that watched the event. and enjoyed it. I'm very grateful to you guys. I've loved being within the Hololive community for these projects. It's been a blast. Everyone is so passionate about them, and seeing all the fan art afterwards of people in their little outfits or stuff that happened during the stream is like so heartwarming to be like, I helped make this and people loved it enough to do something around it. I like looking at the accounts where people live blog about the stream as well and like comment on everything. It's like super cute. It's just really, it just feels really, really good. I love it. I had such a good time. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching Nerissa'S birthday stream, and I hope to see you guys in the future.